Hi everyone, my name is Trisha and welcome back to my channel. And yes, that's me. So yes guys, for today's topic, I'm going to discuss about Dutch language requirement when you are going to live in the Netherlands. Is it really required or is it required to find a job that you have to learn first the language? So what is Dutch language? What are the level of requirement? So is it true that Netherlands requires you to speak at least Dutch language and English? So in this video guys, I'm going to discuss and I'm going to answer those questions. So yes guys, I remember when the first time I came to Netherlands, I applied for my permit, but before that, I came here 2019. And in 2019, my permit was still my Malta permit. So I still have like almost 1 year permit because that time I just renew, and then I came to Netherlands and Corona. That time is before Corona happens. So when Corona happens, I didn't manage to come back anymore because no flights, restrictions are already there, something like that. So I managed also to work here guys in Netherlands those time that I still have my permit in Malta. So how I did that? Of course, first I secure my BSN. I will going to discuss in my my next videos how to get BSN and what is BSN. Okay guys, and when I get my BSN, I applied for a job in a hotel and I applied like as a room attendant as you can see in my previous videos, and they hired me. I signed a contract, and when I get my contract, I went to the bank and I opened my bank account. Okay guys, so after that, I'm not required to speak Dutch in hotel because that hotel speak English as well and many languages. But during my time in hotel, I realized that it's very important that at least you know how to speak Dutch. So it's not a requirement in the hotel that I work for, but at least it's better if you have an idea or at least you have the knowledge to speak Dutch language. And after that, guys, I work in a factory. When I work in a factory, I work in Dunkin' Donut factory, and my colleagues there are mostly refugees from Syria, from Eritrea, from Arab countries, something like that. And they are not speaking English. They don't speak English. They only speak Dutch. So I'm not required to, of course, speak Dutch or speak English. But the problem is the management can understand English, of course, but the problem is in the production, the people that you work together, they only speak Dutch. So I tried my best to speak the language, and in that time, I've learned a lot because I managed to hear different new words that I never learned before in my self studying. Because, guys, I'm only doing self studying that time, and I had my book. I bought a book for integration book just to learn how to pass the exam like that. And there are some new words, there are some sentences, paragraphs like that that you are going to learn there, but it's too difficult to learn self-study. But for me, I find it easy because I think for me it's more effective if I do self-studying compared to going to school. Besides, it's too expensive to go to school. I find it more convenient to learn by myself. But of course, there are limitations when you are learning by yourself. So you cannot ask questions. You have to really force and teach yourself. But when I work in the factory, guys, I manage to learn more than what I can in self-studying. So yes, guys, it is really, really very important that you know how to speak the language of the Netherlands if you are going to work here, because 90%, or let's say 90%, maybe 70% here the job requires you to speak Dutch, and 30% is fine to speak in English. So, for example, guys, if you applied online, you see there like Dutch language is required, or at least you speak both English and Dutch. And there are some application that you only allowed to apply if you only speak Dutch. So they said like the language requirements is only in Dutch, like that, or only in English, or both. So I find it's too difficult to apply before for a very good job because I cannot speak the language, guys. So the only thing I can apply before is the housekeeping in the factory, like that. So if I want to apply for a better job, for example, office or anything, you need to speak a Dutch. So it's difficult. That's why I tried my best to learn the language. And then, guys, I managed to find a job. So I found a job in medical company. So I worked there as 1 year in production, and after 1 year in production, I worked. No, I mean 1 year and 6 months because I applied for a new function, and that is quality control. And so I worked for 6 months of quality control, in total 2 years. So in that factory, guys, for medical equipment, is an American company, so we are not required to speak Dutch. So most people speak English, but of course the workers mostly are from the Netherlands. So of course they speak their own language, and I realized that time that it's very important for you to learn the language as well. Why? Because, guys, even the Dutch language is not required in this company. When you apply for a new function, at least you know how to speak Dutch, because it's happened once to our colleagues that he wants to apply in an office job that time, and they took so long the application. They keep him coming back because the reason is one of the reason is he cannot speak the language, so he must at least learn the language, or if you don't speak the Dutch language, at least you know one of the European language. So you speak English, then at least you can speak also other European language. And there are so many applicants, internal applicants. For example, they speak, for example, Italian, they speak French, and also English. They don't speak Dutch, but at least they speak one of the European language, compared to you that you're applying a job that you only speak English but you don't speak Dutch. So that's a difficult thing, guys. That's why I realized that it's too important. It's very, very important that you must learn Dutch language when you apply in the Netherlands, and make sure that you will get your diploma. Make sure that you have how you call that one? Make sure that you learn. Make sure that you have a diploma when moving to Netherlands, because you can even actually learn here. So, guys, how I did before and what are the things that I did in order to learn the Dutch language. Okay, guys, I learned the Dutch language first. I told you the story how I learned the Dutch language and how I get my permit here. Like I told you in my previous videos, that I get my permit through my Dutch partner. And after that, 2021, I get my ID card officially as a Dutch partner, as a spouse. So it's a partner permit. So I don't need a work permit to work in the Netherlands, but I am required to learn the language, because before we applied for my permit, first I must first pass the A1 level. And after that, I can able to apply my permit. So my partner applied it for me. But the problem, guys, my application before was rejected because my ID card in Malta is almost expired. So the problem is, if you apply for a spouse permit, you need to have at least 90 days of your current visa or any kind of permit. You must have that if you are already in the Netherlands, or else you have to leave. So, guys, we have to reapply again. So since the diploma doesn't have expiration, we can able to use all the requirements that we have passed before, and finally I get approved because that time I left Netherlands and I went back to Philippines. So yes, guys, after 7 months that I get my ID card, I already passed my integration exam, the A2 level, because after you apply, first you need to have your exam, and before you apply, you have to pass your exam, and after you apply, you have to continue the integration, because it's very important, guys. Why? Because after 3 years on spouse permit, you can able to apply for that citizenship or permanent residence. And if you are highly skilled here, you must at least live here for 5 years, or student 5 years, or EU partners it's also 5 years before you can apply for that citizenship or a permanent residence. So I have to make a video, guys, about this one. I will have a separate video on it. So yes, guys, my advice to you is it's very important to learn the language, because in the Netherlands, for example, you have to call the dentist, you have to call the clinic, the doctor, you need to go to buy your food or everywhere. They are all speaking in Dutch. So at least if you know the basic language, then at least you will be able to communicate. Because if you show them that you know how to speak at least the basic language and you're trying your best to speak in their language, they will appreciate it. They will not judge you, or they will not correct you, or they will not laugh at you. They will appreciate you because you're trying your best to integrate in this country, and you're trying your best to be able to fit in the society, and you're respecting the rule. You're respecting the law, that the requirement to be able to speak a Dutch here in this country. So yes, guys, that's what I can say. Netherlands, of course, they can speak English. They able to understand English, but they prefer to speak in Dutch. So I think Netherlands is less strict than Germany, because in Germany, not at all. There is no English language at all, because I experienced myself when I went to Germany many times. No one entertain you. For example, if you're going to ask a question to a German, they will not gonna answer you. So I find it rude, because that time, my experience when I was there, at least that's what I can say, because that's what I experienced. So might not everyone, but most of them. So the Netherlands guys, they will always help you, even if you speak in English like that. But for searching a job, it is very important that you at least learn the language, and at least you know how to speak Dutch language. So yes guys, that's the answer of all your question. If it is required to have a Dutch language in this country, if you're going to live here, the answer is yes guys. It's very important for you to have a Dutch language, or at least learn the basic. So for me, how I learned that, I did only self-study guys, because I prefer to self-study only, not to go to school because it's too expensive. So I've learned the integration book. I bought it online. So I will try my best guys to link in the description below all the links and the website that I used to learn the language. So I will try to search it, and I will gonna share it with you. So yes guys, that's all for today's vlog, and I hope you get a lesson. I hope you learn from this vlog. And next time, I'm going to discuss about permanent residency and citizenship in the Netherlands. So we still have a lot of topic to discuss, guys. And of course, sometimes I will also going to share about my daily life, or at least outdoor vlogs. So those are upcoming vlogs, guys. So thank you so much for watching our vlog, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!